is the game that people have had circled on their calendars for a while now. Weslaco East versus San Benito. Hello, everybody. Carlos Roberto along with Mike Gonzalez, and we are here live at Bobby Lackey Stadium for the Miriam Guerra Allstate Insurance pregame show. And once again, here we are because it's San Benito versus Weslaco East, similar to the circumstances last year. San Benito was undefeated, and Weslaco East had one loss. Let's take a look at what happened last year at the 2016 season, and it was Weslaco East. They had the travel to San Benito. Eric on the drive here, passing to Isaiah Emilio, making 11-0 San Benito. Weslaco East stepping up their defense as soon as they finally with an interception, setting up the score looking and passing to Jesse Pena, 18-7, San Benito leaving at the half. In the third quarter, they give it to Pedraza, trying to get Weslaco East back into the game here in the 2016 contest. 56 yards for Roy, 18-13 though, San Benito with the lead. Weslaco East needed a stop, but they couldn't get it. A big-time run here for 50 yards and the score. That made it 25-13, San Benito. They give the ball to Freddy Gonzalez here in the fourth quarter. The Wildcats, they do score late in the game, but San Benito comes away with a victory last year, winning by a score of 25-19, the final score in that contest. And here we go again, Mike. Like you said earlier in the year, and we've all been talking about San Benito versus Weslaco East. We knew this was going to be a big game. Yeah. Weslaco East with only one loss, the San Benito is undefeated.
Yeah, that's right, Carlos. I mean, last year's game had some kind of hype. You know, everybody was talking about it. This is a little bit different because the Wildcats had a lot coming back, as well as San Benito, and we'll get into that in just a few minutes, but we're all excited.
All right, and when you take a look at San Benito, you're talking about a couple of players. They're solid all around, but you always have to look out for the dynamic duo, and that is Eric Reda and Tyrone Harper. And what have they done so far in the season? Well, this is Tyrone Harper versus McCallum Memorial. Remember them? Yeah, a very good team here in the Rio Grande Valley. Taking this one back 96 yards for the touchdown. And San Benito, they look good in that contest. Eric Reda also did a very good job at quarterback right here, passing for a 2-point conversion. 600 yards and 7 touchdowns for Tyrone Harper in the season so far. Eric Reda with 506 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. Watch the nice run right here by Harper. Eluding tacklers, running away from all of them right there, and that is last week against Los Fresnos. Last week, 144 yards passing for Reda and 101 yards rushing. Just a dynamic football player is Reda. And Tyrone Harper with 168 yards rushing. The Wildcats, yes, they know that their backs are against the wall against this team, but Coach Burgett says they're looking for an upset tonight.
Again, there's no fluke. They're 4-0. They're good. Their quarterback is really good. Their tailback is good. Their defense flies around. They got a great program over there. They got, like I said, great coaches over there. But, you know, our job is to go up there, and we're playing at home, and it's the #1 team, and they call us the #2 team. I'm still trying to figure out why they call us the #2 team. But upsets do happen. And, you know, I mean, I got a quarterback that's throwing the ball really well. I got a bunch of receivers catching the ball. Our defense is flying around hitting people. So, you know, I mean, instead of calling it a forfeit, we'll show up and we'll play. We'll be there.
All right, so Coach Burgett saying, yeah, they're still going to strap it on here tonight, and they're going to go head-to-head against the San Benito Greyhounds tonight. Mike, Weslaco East, the underdog tonight.
They are, because of the situation they're in. They've had some injuries, and that affects the team a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, San Benito has proven why they are the #1 team in the Valley with the dynamic duel of Eric Reda and Tyrone Harper. And, you know, in watching video, the first thing I noticed about Tyrone Harper is like, man, he looks different. He looks taller. Well, yeah, guess why? I went back to check last year's roster, and I saw that he stood at 5'11", and this year they have him at 6'1". So just as you mentioned, a dynamic player in Eric Reda, a phenomenal quarterback, stands at 5'8", same height as last year. But, boy, can he move. He's a quick guy who can also throw the football.
It should be a good game tonight, and the Wildcats come into this contest the underdogs. But I think they like that role.
They do, Carlos, because they're used to kind of playing that with the chip on their shoulder kind of thing. They're hard workers. They use little things to motivate them, to get them going. So they just kind of see this as a challenge. Like, you know what? San Benito is the #1 team, and they're coming to our house, and we're an elite team too. And we feel like we can play with these guys, and that's what they're going to try to do tonight.
You know, there was a lot of hype last week before the game, Weslaco East and Weslaco High School, Tinacobo. A lot of hype coming to this game as well. And why is that? Because it's #1 versus #2. And how did we get here? Well, San Benito, they started off the season with victories. You take a look at both of the schedules right there for both these two teams, the Greyhounds over Laredo United, one of the top teams out of Laredo consistently, the Longhorns of United, and they beat them 23-20 in the first week of the season. They go on and they beat Ed Couch Elsa 44-18 in that game, or not Ed Couch Elsa. My bad. They beat, East Central 44-18 in that contest. Then they beat McAllen Memorial, a big game right there because Memorial, they have always been one of the top teams, one of the top 5 teams in the Valley over the past few years. They beat them 31-7. And they beat Los Fresnos last week, 45-33. You take a look at the Wildcats, big win over Sherryland. They lost to McAllen Memorial. 6 turnovers hurt them there. Then they take care of business in their last 2 games, Economides and Weslaco. And take a look at the common opponents, Mike. It looks like McAllen Memorial, that kind of sticks out there in the schedule.
That's the one opponent that both teams have played against. As you saw, San Benito beat them pretty handily, 31-7. Weslaco East, their only loss of the year was to the Mustangs, and well, the difference is the Wildcats had 6 turnovers in that game. But all in the other games, the Wildcats have been flawless, have looked phenomenal. And so basically it's, hey, if we take care of the football, we're going to win, and we have a good chance of winning. Both of these teams over 400 yards of offense and rack up a lot of points.
Yeah, 4-0 versus 3-1. #1 versus #2. If you take a look at the media across the Rio Grande Valley, they're saying that this is the game to be at, and there's going to be a lot of media here tonight. Now, a big news that happened last week is that Roy Pedraza, a powerhouse runner for the Weslaco East Wildcats, he is out for the season. And look at the runs that Pedraza had in this season. He had 1,900 yards rushing and 20 touchdowns last year. Watch the great move right here against McAllen Memorial. He was having another great season, was Pedraza. But for Pedraza and the rest of the team, they say, hey, it's just time for a next up man mentality.
You know, I know everyone thinks I'm a big loss to the team, but I'm not really. I was just one of Burgett's stars, you know. Burgett made me into the player I am today, and you know, without him, I'll probably not be as good. And, you know, he'll just make another star. You know, that's what Burgett's known for. You know, JC, he's a hell of a player, you know. He can play anything. Josh Gonzalez. And this team is pretty good, even with me out. So I have faith in them that we'll still have a great season and we'll still make it far.
Yeah, you got to like that attitude. Next man up. And Pedraza has a little bit of a point there. Who's going to be the next one to go in there? Because remember, they lost Freddie Gonzalez also earlier this year. So Roy's out, Freddie Gonzalez is out. Who's going to be the next guy?
That's a very good question, Carlos. So who is going to be the next guy? Well, I think it's going to be everybody. Everybody's going to have to raise their level of play. Not 1, but maybe 2 notches, especially with San Benito here in town. We all know what their record is. And so, yeah, I'm pretty sure practice this week has been very intense. I'm sure the coaching staff, who is one of the best here in the Valley, you know, has put together a good game plan for this game. And I think the Wildcats will do a pretty good job, and we'll be ready for tonight.
All right, and one of those persons that you will see maybe get the ball a little bit more. He plays a lot. You know him, JC Vargas. He's one of those top players. Can he carry the load, and will he carry the load? Let's take a look at some of his highlights from the season. Remember this game against Sherryland. It was 3rd and 10. Let's pass the ball. No, let's run the Wildcat, and let's see if JC can do his thing, and he certainly did. He could also catch the ball. This is a young man that already has 7 touchdowns. He's got 10 total, 7 passing touchdowns. So JC could get some of the more action tonight, but he says there's a different mindset for this team coming into this season.
I don't know, I think it all comes from the heart, you know, and I think every one of us has, that heart to play, so. And that's just how a lot of us were raised, you know. So if a player goes down, we're gonna do everything we can to help him, not help him, but play as one, so we could represent. Him and Freddie, they probably won't play for the rest of the season, but I know me and the other guys are going to go out there and play for them because, like, they would do the same if we were in their position.
They just have a different mentality coming into this game, it seems like, Mike, just listening to JC on that soundbite right there, playing for one another on the field.
They do, Carlos, and I mean, not the swagger, but the confidence is still there. There's a difference between swagger and confidence. This team is very confident, Carlos. They've been in the system for a number of years. JC Vargas has been with the team, 4 years, 3 years, 4 years as a starter, and you know, he plays different positions. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that Coach Burgett will have him trying to get the ball a little bit more. He gets the ball as a receiver, as a back, and he's very dangerous in the open field. And so, you know, he's one of the guys to keep an eye on. Richard Lefevre, same thing. Will he be sinking the ball a little bit more? Will he be throwing a little bit more? He's already thrown for close to 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be some other players that we haven't heard of that will be getting the ball a little bit more and will step up third game. Remember, JC, not only does he play offense, he plays defense, and he also plays special teams. All right, let's move on to our next 7. And Ciro Rojas is here in the house, a former Wildcat, and he was one of those running backs that had a lot of action. A graduate from 2015. We welcome him onto the show. Ciro, how does it feel to be back at Bobby Lackey Stadium? It's been 2 years since you graduated. I know you guys lost to Del Rio, but during that time, but Weslaco was able to beat them last year. How does it feel for them? How does it feel for you to see them win that game last year?
It feels good, man. And we had some mistakes when we played. I mean, they got them back, so, you know, it's a good thing.
Ciro, I mean, you know better than we do what it's like to be a Weslaco East Wildcat. You know what they're going through right now with the big injuries. But, hey, this team has a lot of heart and have a lot of confidence, don't they?
Yes, sir. Whoever's next got to step up, you know. Whoever's up. Yeah, man, like, you just got to work hard and see who's going to get the ball more and who wants it more.
Did you ever go through anything like that? Did you? Because I don't remember many injuries with you.
No, I didn't really go through many injuries because, you know, we worked hard throughout the summer. We prepared not to get injured. We try to play the smart way and things like that, man. But injuries do happen, so.
Sure. It's part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of the game, so, you know, you got to be ready for them.
We're talking about JC Vargas. We don't want to call you the original JC Vargas, but you're the guy that kind of played his style. You're the utility man of this team. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? If there's any differences between you guys, what would it be?
If there's any differences between me and him, he's a lot quicker than me, yeah, you know. He can make a lot of people miss. He can make like 2 or 3 or 4 people miss. He has a lot of versatility. I mean, he's a good kid, man. He's a good athlete.
And he actually played with you because he's a 4-year starter. So he was there a couple of years ago. He was a freshman, I guess, when you were there.
Yes, sir.
What was it like playing alongside him?
Man, it was fun. You know, we got along with each other well. We connected, you know. It's fun playing with him because you know him personally and as a teammate also, you know. It's pretty cool to have a player like him because
Sure, absolutely.
we relate in so many ways. You can't even know.
And you have to be very proud of his accomplishments because not only is he playing the way you did when you were with the Wildcats, but he even got your number last year when he became a junior, huh?
Yes, sir.
Was that something that he tell you? Did he give you the heads up that was going to happen, or?
No, actually, when I was a sophomore, I was number 15, and when I got the number 1, he got 15, and then I got number 1, he got number 1. So that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure he looks up to me, but he's going to be a good player, man. He's going to play college ball, and I hope he does well.
I don't know if you get a chance to talk to these guys at all. You know, I know you're busy. What is it that you would tell them before tonight's game? They're without Roy Pedraza, one of their top, studs on the team. He's out for the season. What would you tell them about tonight's game?
I keep in contact with them. I wish him luck every game. I mean, I didn't get to see him last year's season because I wasn't here. I was up in Dallas. So this is the first year I get to see him play.
Awesome.
And I keep in contact with them. We hang out sometimes in the weekend, do our thing, and it's pretty cool, man. Yeah.
Great. And speaking of, you said Dallas right now. You go out of town quite a bit for work, huh? Tell us what you're up to these days.
Right now we're building schools and doctor facilities and things like that. I'm working in structural welding and stuff like that.
Where did you finished with your schooling already? What are you working for? Construction company now? Give us a little bit more background.
Yeah, I'm working for a construction called Southern Steels Fabricators. Mm-hmm. We build the roofings to schools. We put up beams, columns, and things like that.
And did you have to get a certification to do that kind of work, or is it something maybe that you got at Weslaco ISD that helped you? I mean, tell us a little bit about that.
No, as long as you get certified for welding, the things they run through, you know, you could work with them.
All right, well, we're glad that things are working well for Mr. Cito right here. Congratulations on everything.
Congratulations.
We'll see what happens with Wildcats tonight.
All right, thank you for having me.
Thanks for
Yes,
being
sir.
here.
Thanks for coming.
We appreciate it. All right, we'll let you get back to all your pregame festivities. And we're not done here yet because we have some other important games. Of course, not as big as this one here tonight, but there are a couple of other games that are on tap tonight. In fact, Weslaco, the Panthers, they are playing at Hannah. 2 straight losses for the Panthers. They want to get a victory tonight.
That's right, Carlos. It's a big game for the Panthers to get back on track in this district race. We saw last week here in Tinacobo, sophomore Payne Canal suffered an injury. I got word he will play tonight, which is very good news for that young sophomore. For the Golden Eagles, as I mentioned at the start of the season, this is a team that's up and coming. Mark Guess is a great coach over there, and they have a running back named Cesar Mencias, who's doing a great job over there.
He's
has
legit.
over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that's the guy to keep an eye on.
Yeah, look out for the highlights of Weslaco High School. Panthers versus Hannah. We will have them later on tonight. We'll actually be closer to 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when those highlights are on Facebook. Harlingen South taking on Los Fresnos. Los Fresnos coming off a loss to San Benito, but they're still a threat in 32-6A.
They are, Carlos, because the Falcons proved that they can play with San Benito. They only lost by 10 points last week. The Hawks started the year 1-0, but have lost 3 straight. So they've been outscored 91-38. So it's a big game for them, a big test for the Falcons.
All right, and our neighbors, Mercedes, taking on Brownsville Veterans. This game taking place at the Jungle, and this could determine the 32-5A championship.
That is right, Carlos. These are the 2 teams that a lot of people pick to be on top of 32-5A. Will Roger Adame play tonight? We read earlier that he got cleared by the doctors to practice and is also lifting weights. So he was going to be a game-time decision. 2 quarterbacks out there, Gustavo Vasquez and Mark Ledesma for Mercedes. Expect a shootout possibly tonight. Both have combined for over 1,600 yards.
Yeah, those are 2 of the top teams in 32-5A. Look for them. If they don't win, one of those 2 doesn't win district, to go far in the playoffs. All right, that'll wrap it up here. Our Miriam Guerra Allstate Insurance pregame show is now done. For Mike Gonzalez, I'm Carlos Robledo. We will have the game audio on Facebook tonight. Weslaco East versus San Benito, and then our postgame show right here at Bobby Lackey Stadium. We'll see you after the game.